The last two markets we're going to talk about this semester are that of monopolistic competition and oligopolies. Now, before we dive into these markets, though, we have to understand that these market structures come with product differentiation. So here we have competition, but the businesses are competing on something other than price. The products themselves are identifiable. So we need to look at what that means and how you can differentiate your product. Why you might want to be a monopolistically competitive market rather than a perfectly competitive market. Or why you might want to be a differentiated oligopoly rather than an undifferentiated oligopoly. So product differentiation is an attempt to distinguish the product from the competition. There are two reasons why you would want to have product differentiation. So the two reasons why. The first is we would like to create brand recognition. We want people to see our product and know that it is us. So if you think about it, if you're driving down the highway and you see a car, do you know who made it? Well, if you're looking at a truck, you'll know that it's a Ford truck based on the logo, based on the shape and design. The idea here is we want to have a product that is identifiable so that we create brand recognition. We want people to see our product, know we made it, and then ask for it from us. That's why when it comes to vehicles, there's the decals and items on it that say who made it. Sometimes you see even the company puts the stickers on that says, Cam Clark Ford. The point of this is to create brand recognition. You see it, you like it, you know exactly where to go to ask for it. So we could have identifiable packaging. So when you think about Nike, for example, how do you know if you're looking at a Nike hat? Right? It has the swoosh. Okay? Or there's advertising. The second we see the advertisement, we know who made the product and who made the ad. If you think about like the Super Bowl commercials, every time you see the Clydesdale horses, you know it's a commercial for commercial for Budweiser. So we're trying to create brand recognition. We want people to know we made it and ask for it from us. The other reason we want product differentiation is to create customer loyalty. So first they know it's us and they ask for it from us, and now we want them to keep asking for it from us. So we want them to keep coming back. That's the customer loyalty part. So how do you create customer loyalty? Well, you can offer new models. So when it comes to vehicles, they get updated every couple years with new features. You might upgrade your iPhone or your PlayStation to a newer model that's faster with better tech. So this keeps you coming back to the same company. We could also sell accessories or add-ons. So if you think about buying your PlayStation, then you need PlayStation-specific games, you need PlayStation-specific controllers. And so once you start investing in all of these accessories or add-ons, it makes it more difficult to switch from PlayStation to Xbox, for example. So we're creating customer loyalty. We're kind of locking you in as an Apple user, as a Samsung user, as a PlayStation user, and making it more difficult for you to switch to the competition. Because you already know how the iPhone works and you like the system, so you just keep upgrading to a newer iPhone, or because you've bought all the pieces and components and accessories for the PlayStation, so you just keep upgrading to a newer version of the PlayStation. The other way to create customer loyalty is to have additional service options. So if you think about when you buy a TV, for example, you go and buy a TV from Visions, well, they sell you a warranty. Well, why do they sell you a warranty? This warranty is so that if something happens to your TV, then it'll be replaced. Well, very rarely, you'll notice the length of the warranty, very rarely does the product have to be replaced during this warranty process. So is it a complete cash grab from the company? Well, somewhat, but what they're trying to do is differentiate themselves from the competition by creating this customer loyalty. It gives you this warm, fuzzy feeling that you're being taken care of, that if anything goes bad, the company stands behind their products and are there for you. And Visions differentiates their warranty from, say, Staples or Best Buy warranty, which is if you don't use the warranty in that period of time, you can then apply that money to a new purchase. So these additional service options create customer loyalty, make you feel taken care of, give you credits towards future purchases so that you'll keep coming back and buying from them again and again. So the idea here is that if we can have brand recognition, so we know who made it, we ask for it from them, and we can create customer loyalty, we keep coming back, then what happens to demand? Well, companies are no longer competing based on price. Customers are no longer going to whomever is the cheapest. And because they now have a preference for your company, now that they have this loyalty to your company, their demand becomes more elastic or inelastic. Becomes more inelastic. The customer becomes less sensitive to price. They're buying for other reasons besides whomever's the cheapest, which then gives the business more market power. So if we can create brand recognition and customer loyalty, we can actually charge a bit more as a company because they're buying from us for some other reason. So for example, if we look at Safari Hair Salon, how to create customer loyalty? Well, they're creating this experience for you, this ambiance of the spa. They bring you cookies and milk. They give you a hand massage while you're getting your hair done. These additional services create customer loyalty. You keep coming back. And what that allows them to do is charge a little bit more for a haircut because you're coming for that overall experience or treatment, not just the haircut. So businesses would like to differentiate their product because then they don't have to compete solely based on price. There are different ways to differentiate your product. So let's look at some examples of ways to differentiate your product. So the first would be a physical difference, a difference in the way the product tastes. So for example, when we talk about like Pepsi and Coke, do they taste different? And Pepsi tried to show this product differentiation. When was it? Back in the 80s, I think it was, when they had these Pepsi ads with the taste challenge. Could you tell the difference between Pepsi and Coke, and which one would people prefer? So we want there to be a physical difference. We want it to look different. We want it to taste different. Okay. So that's one way to separate yourself. The second way to separate yourself is based on convenience. So if we think about the corner store versus the grocery store, the corner store and the grocery store both sell milk, but what's different with the corner store is it's near your house. So what happens when it comes to the price of milk at a corner store versus at your house? Which one is more expensive? Well, the corner store. How can they get away with charging you more? Well, it's the convenience. It's the fact that you don't have to drive all the way across town. You don't have to go to the back of the grocery store. It's that you can quickly grab what you need. Remember, if we can differentiate the product, demand becomes more inelastic, and then people are less sensitive to the price change. You can charge them a little bit more. So the convenience, that fact that they're near your house, that location can differentiate your product. The third example of product differentiation would be ambiance. Okay, so if you think about a fine dining restaurant versus fast food, right? If you have real silverware, you have cloth napkins, right? This gives you that ambiance, that feeling of luxury versus plastic forks and your food in a bag. So when it comes to fine dining versus fast food, we're willing to pay a little bit more for the experience, for that experience of fine dining. That's a differentiation based on ambiance. The fourth one is reputation. So here we're looking at the reputation of the company. And I'll put a clip in Blackboard to a video advertisement for Tom's Shoes. Tom's Shoes differentiates their product by reputation. So the idea with Tom's Shoes is every time you buy a pair of shoes, then they donate a pair of shoes to an individual in need. So you are willing to pay a little extra for their shoes versus others because of that fact that the company has this reputation for donating or helping others. So they can get away with charging a little bit of a higher price for the shoe. The fifth type of differentiation is a customized product. So if we think about buying shelving units for our closets, we have Canadian Closet, we have Home Depot, okay? How do they differentiate themselves? Well, Canadian Closet is selling you the same metal structures you could buy at Home Depot, but they charge more. How can they get away with charging more? Well, they customize their product. So they'll go into your home, they'll measure your closet, and then they will cut those shelves to fit your particular space, and they'll install it for you. So that customization, the fact that you don't have to cut metal to get these to fit in your closet, that you don't have to do the installation yourself, you're willing to pay a little extra for that service. So if we can provide a customized product, then people are less sensitive to price, more inelastic, and you're no longer competing based on price. The sixth different way to differentiate your product is based on quality, and I'll put a link to a Toyota commercial in Blackboard. And what you'll find in this Toyota commercial is that they are emphasizing that they've had quality issues in the past, but no more. They are taking care of their customers and ensuring that they're creating this product that is top quality. The reason for this commercial, why did Toyota have to come out with this commercial, is that there was an issue with brakes on the Toyota products. So people were complaining that the car was not braking when it should be. And then when you hit the brake, instead it was causing acceleration. Okay, so Toyota was getting this reputation for having a defective product. Well, when you look at the price of a Toyota versus a Ford for the same sedan, the Toyota is a lot more expensive. And that's because Toyota has attempted to differentiate their product based on quality and reliability. Quality in terms of the product doesn't have mechanical issues. Reliability in terms of you can pass it on to your kid and it'll keep running even then. So the problem is if Toyota's getting this reputation for having poor quality, it doesn't brake when you hit the brakes and instead accelerates, then the problem is that they can no longer charge more for their vehicles. People aren't willing to pay extra if they don't perceive that higher quality. So there was this big ad campaign to restore in the minds of individuals that Toyota really was focused on quality and better quality than the competition. Now, it turns out that when they investigated a lot of these people hitting the brakes causing acceleration, there was accusations that it was a floor mat issue. At the end, when they did all this research, they didn't find any defective problem with the Toyota product. They think people, when they were panicking, were hitting the wrong brake, and so it was user error. But the last thing a company can do is basically tell its customers that the reason that the car is not working is because they're doing it wrong. So there were recalls to look at the issues, to change out the floor mats. But really, at the end of the day, Toyota had to convince its customers that it was quality. The seventh way to differentiate your product is reliability. And I'll put a link here in Blackboard to a commercial about the IO-safe hard drive. And what you'll see in this commercial is that this hard drive can be set on fire. They submerge it in water, and they even take a vehicle and steamroll it, and it still survives. So you can still plug it into a computer, and everything that you have stored on this hard drive still boots up and still works. So it is reliable. The idea here is that your information is secure, regardless of whether your house is in a fire or a flood. Your information is protected. So you can rely on their product to continue to last. Which means if we look at the price of an IO-safe hard drive versus a Western Digital or another product, your price for that IO-safe hard drive is considerably more. Why? Because they're competing on something other than price. They've differentiated their product. So some of these examples, I'll provide the videos where you can see it for yourself in terms of how they've differentiated their products.